Hello class, welcome to another vlog. So in this video we are going to, or I am going to discuss how to write your methodology. So methodology means how did you develop your system from scratch, from start to the finish. So this will entail your discussion regarding the use of the development paradigm or the development paradigm in developing your system. Okay, this will include all the diagrams that are very essential in discussing your approach. How did you develop your system? So how did you come up with the different features and functionality of the system? So in the methodology, we will also discuss how to create the swim lane diagram, how to create the entity relationship diagram, because the database aspect, the hypo chart, the block diagram, and the use case. So the chapter 4 discussion for the methodology will be I think a 2-part or 3-part series video to discuss all of those things that I have said. So the first part will be focused on the development paradigm. So we will cover XP or extreme programming. So that will be the official paradigm that will be used in the development process of your system. So without any further ado, so let's start the discussion. Okay, so this is methodology. So the example that I will use in this discussion is my documentation, my manuscript. So chapter 4, methodology. Okay, so the methodology, okay, confers with the research methodology of how the proposed system will be designed and developed. So this is your plan. Ang plano ni siya, ang blueprint ni siya sa imuhang system. Okay, so the researcher used project management methodologies and models that defines the phases involved in developing an information system project, from its initial planning until deployment and maintenance of the completed system. Okay, so specifically, the researcher opted to use the object-oriented approach in systems development life cycle. So if you can recall what is object-oriented approach, so that is object orientation, So in SDLC, okay, for its practicality and flexibility in dealing rapid application development, or RAD. So since your system will be created within the semester, so the approach would be RAD, rapid application development. So that is in the contrast to traditional approach that is based on sequential waterfall approach. So because in practice, phases overlap and projects contain many iterations of analysis, design, and implementation activities. Okay, so we begin with research. So this is the research design. Research design. So the development, the methodology rather, is composed of research design, then followed by okay, it's still part of okay, then okay, that is part 1, research design. Okay, I think then it is still part of the research design. Research environment, research locale, and the hypo chart, or the hierarchical input-output chart. Okay, then followed by the database design. Okay, and then the diagrams. So specifically the ERD, the entity relationship diagram. So that would be in the next video. So ERD will be using Navicat. So that is from code to database design, specifically the crowfoot diagram. Okay, so let us start from the beginning. So we have here the introduction, the introductory statement, then the research design. So research design begins with the prototype selection. Okay, so prototype site selection. So you will discuss here, so asa nimo gi-create ang prototype, So the study is steered towards the design and development of online graduate tracer platform system for higher education institutions, or HEIs. Okay, or with its code name GradTrace. So in this study, HEIs from Eastern Visayas region will be the main beneficiary. So you will state the main beneficiary, okay, of the system and its implementation. However, on the development side, the researcher has preferred Visayas State University Isabel Marver Isabel Leyte to be the development engineering hub of the proposed system, in which the following tasks are performed. So unsa may gibuhat nato diri sa eskwelahan or within the school, So unsa man, okay, designing, coding, web hosting, testing, integration, initial deployment and of the proposed system. So kay naaman dinhi ang web server, FTP server, and database server that will be used as the working horses to test your application. So when we say working horses, they are the tools or the hardware that will be used in hosting your system. Okay, since the researcher is one of the employees of the learning institution and had access to his computing facilities, that would be easy for him to perform technical activities or experiments, and also gather relevant information needed in the conduct of the study. So that is the prototype site selection. So imong i-discuss dinhi kung asa nimo gihimo, unsay intention, then unsay mga buhaton nga mga activities dinha. Then ang rason nganong diha nimo siya i-develop. So you can somewhat revise this one. So a similar statement to this would do. Ayaw pug kopya ha. I-revise lang sad, Then the system development paradigm. So we will be using XP, the Extreme Programming Paradigm. So we're in. There are lots of diagrams, so you can search different representation of XP. So I am using here the vertical representation. Okay, so you will explain XP. Unsay ni siyang XP. Okay, explain sa nimo ang XP. Then you will describe the paradigm. So to fully understand the phases of the paradigm in relation to development and conduct of the study, the proponent has laid out plans to perform different activities that will satisfy the phases of the paradigm. So ang discussion na ni siya diri sa phases sa paradigm. So sa atong model. Okay. So for example, so customer input architectural spike. So usa man ni siya, customer input or architectural spike. So ang mga data gathering na ni siya. So data gathering on this phase is conducted where the researcher had collected data and consolidated data from the so for example, kung ako graduate tracer man, so alumni affairs, so the same po sa inyo ha. So for example, kung asa mo nagkuha og data sa internet, ra mo nagkuha og data, nag-interview mo bo, so you will state that here, So the researcher also downloaded graduate tracer form. So kung sa to inyong ipang search, inyong ipang download, inyong isulti din ha. In addition, the researcher also conducted comprehensive online data gathering research on job searching domains. So kung nag-testing ba mo og mga systems aron lang makagather mo og data as input to your study. Okay? Then I have also discussed here the major functionalities of my system, some of it. So for example, the portfolio manager, the PM, the entity manager, the feedback integration manager, so on and so forth. No? So after data gathering, the researcher created the user stories. All of the entities of the transactions of the proposed entities and transactions of the proposed system. So the user stories kuan siya class katong interpretation. When we say user stories, mura ni siya beginning of the use case. You will describe the events. So using story kanang user stories method. So ibutang nimo diha sa tong mga events. So later on ato tong i-discuss unsa na siyang user stories. Okay? Okay. So then later these user stories will be converted to actual system features and as the basic building blocks of the application code. So user stories are simply you describe the event and that will be interpreted into code. Okay? So the researcher grouped the user stories into smaller tasks and classified them into most significant to the least significant user story. So when you are going to arrange them according to their importance, no? So then these user stories will be executed by the researcher within the iteration cycle. So furthermore, when a user story fails, the researcher have to review the data gathering documents and create a new and improved user story to satisfy the execution process within new iteration. Okay, so designing. So unsa may ways of or the shall we say activities in designing. Okay, during the early phases of development, the researcher has identified 3 design aspects of the study. So which covers the database design, application design, and the module design. So again, the database design, the DD, the ADE or the ADA, and the MD. No, so the database design, application design aesthetics, and module design. So when we say database design, this is the design of the database, the application design aesthetics, the user interface, and the module design, the functionality that will be used no sa coding na. So these design aspects are carefully planned and reviewed before finalizing the appropriate or official design that will be used for system development. So each of these aspects undergo series of evaluation before reaching the desired design. So to meet the objectives of the study, the following were implemented on design aspects of the development. So database design. So isultin mo din ang database design. So you can improve this statement. Ayun lang sa kopya, you can improve this statement. So you will discuss about normalization, the phases of normalization, then how you refer it to the transactions nga transactions sa imuhang module. Application design aesthetics, this is for the usability. No, giunsa nimo pag-design sa pagpili nimo sa colors sa design. No, colored interface design. So module design, this is the most intricate aspect of the design, since database design, application design aesthetics will be useless if the system modules are poorly designed. So ang design na gid ni sa imuhang mga modules o sub modules or mga components. That's why the researcher of the study referenced various existing application and platforms as benchmarks to create customized module design to ensure compatibility within the user. So meaning to say, nag-refer ka sa different kinds of applications or systems. No? So for example, katong mga literature cited na to, katong mga related studies, katong mga systems, mo na siya diri na masuod to siya. No, instead, user familiarity is experienced to take place the soonest time possible that will greatly contribute improved user productivity and effectiveness in using the proposed system. Then release planning. So, how often do you release, during the development part? Then iteration. Iteration deals with the system development cycle of each task. Iteration includes the workflow cycles in the research plan. So sa iteration cycle kano sa mag-release, so you can copy this one, so i-revise lang sa siya gamay. No, acceptance test. Okay, how will be the system pag-accept, o saan pag-accept sa system? So meaning to say, that will be the start of using the system. So during this phase, selected people from VS Isabel, graduating students and employees and alumni employees will be the one to test the output of each release schedule. So imo ato man i-test. So kaning mga tawha, kaning mga klasihas tao mo ning mga mo test sa imuhang system. So for example, store owners kung sales and inventory, mga online customers, and so on. So muna acceptance test. The process will be repeated until the users are satisfied with the output. So this way functionalities and features of the proposed system is guaranteed to meet the requirements and also ensures that researchers' programming development efforts are not put into waste. No? So meaning to say, wala masayang ang imuhang kahago pag-develop sa system. Nga naman, if you constantly communicate with your client and you have referred or gitawag natong benchmark good systems or time-tested systems nga nakig-emulate ng mga processes gibutang sa imong system, you are in safe hands. Okay, coding. So coding, you will discuss what is coding and what's the role of coding in the system development. Okay? So, unsa may gipanggamit? So, unsa may mga coding standards nga atong kuanon. So, for example, object-oriented programming. So, i-discuss nimo gamay unsay meaning sa object-oriented programming. Just a small description will do. Okay, the programming language that we will be using. So, for example, kay dili man mo mag-C, i-discuss diya ang Visual Basic.net. Okay, JavaScript. Okay, so pwede niyo i-revise ni siya. JavaScript description. No, so when we say JavaScript, ang katuning mga scripts under the web page, inside the web page, can be embedded or within the page or called upon via code. No. Okay, then the technology that we'll be using for the web pages, so ASP.NET. Then the data or gitawag na itong data access method, so that it will be using SQL, stored procedures, so the programming of data inside the database. So hindi na siya lisod programon. Then SQL jobs performs series of series of operations performed sequentially by SQL agent. So a job can perform with a wide range of activities including running at the SQL scripts, command prompt applications, ActiveX controls, and integration services. So when we say kani siya, pwede na siya optional nimo kung wa ka nagamit ani, let's include. Okay, so we have the block diagram. So the block diagram is maura ni siya sa conceptual framework, pero ang block diagram makita na gyud tanan ang component. So katong dito wala pa to makita ang server unsa pala diha. So kani dinhi gi-reveal na hasta ang iyang mga output. So as you can see, the server, then the module. So this module is the core functionality inside the web server. Asa dapit gi-host ang imuhang application or imuhang web site. Then this rectangle here, this vertical rectangle here na shape, then together with this represented icons, it represents the services or the outputs that will be generated by the system. So this is talking in the standpoint that this is CHED already, o ikaw ang platform, no? And here So kani siya ang mga entities na ni nga mo connect sa imong system. So we have the alumni, of course, kay sila kuan og information, the HEIs, which is gi-cover niya ang alumni, no, mag-exchange sila information. Then we have here the employer. So since ako ni siyang gi-design nga ang mga companies pwede mo pa-register din aron ma-identify nila ang empleyado nila kung tinuod ba nga gikag eskwelahan. Basig ang ilahang mga TOR or diploma gikan resrekto, no? Okay. Then also the community, no? Kay ang mga community, ako na pong gihimo ani nga system nga maka-search sila og mga professionals sa nagkalain-laing mga lugar. Pwede sila mangita and they can hire them. So community, it could be a company or either a small business. Okay? Then both ang pinaka main platform nila or pinaka main link nila is ang internet. So kung wala internet, di po function itong platform. And the system is controlled by CHED through the internet. So let us say for example nga to nigi-host sa Region 8 na office division sa CHED. Okay, so the block diagram is the discussion na ni siya sa imuhang system. I-discuss gid ha, you pour your your heart out ani. No, i-discuss nimo siya tanan. Okay? Then 2 to 3 pages will do. So, okay po, padaghan na nimo kung explain gyud mo siya pag maayo. Kay dinhiman makita na to sa plano nimo sa imong system. Okay, then next would be the system flow chart. So you will discuss what is a system flow chart. Okay, particularly we will be using UML. Okay, then discuss the flowchart symbols. Okay, then followed by the swim lane diagram. So muna na siya. So this is included in the presentation of defense, ang imuhang swim lane diagram. So I will create another video designed for the swim lane diagram and user stories, so that matagsa-tagsa na to siya, no, og dili pod taas kayo ang video. So I hope you learned something from this video. I hope you have a significant progress in the development of your documentation and your prototype. And I hope everyone is ready when the proposal defense comes. Okay. So thank you very much. God bless everyone, and see you on the next vlog.